Good morning. During my recent farm tour around Alabama, pecan farmers shared the need for senior citizens to have access to pecans through the USDA's Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. Studies show that pecans contain more than 19 vitamins and minerals, including vitamins A, B, and E. Additionally, pecans are naturally free of sodium and cholesterol and provide a high-quality source of protein. However, seniors currently cannot buy pecans through the program despite the large volume of pecans grown in our state, which totaled 3 million pounds last year. So today I'm introducing the Farmers Market Expansion Act to make pecans and other tree nuts eligible for the Seniors Nutrition Program. This legislation will bolster business for our over 800 pecan producers and also allow our senior citizens to have more healthy and local sourced Alabama grown food products. As Alabama's voice on the Senate Ag Committee, I'll keep using input from Alabama's agriculture communities to shape my efforts here in D.C. I joined my Senate colleagues in introducing resolution through the Congressional Review Act to overturn President Biden's reckless decision to cancel more student loan debt. His new income-driven repayment rule is nothing but a desperate attempt to buy popularity using your tax dollars. A recent study estimated the rule will cost taxpayers up to $559 billion. This is a slap in the face to millions of hardworking Americans who choose not to attend college or have already paid off their debts. And it is totally irresponsible. I have always said education is the key to the opportunities that we get and support higher education opportunities for our students. But it is not the taxpayers' responsibility to foot the bill for costs that they didn't incur. I will continue to fight back against Joe Biden's fiscally reckless policies so that Americans can keep more of their hard-earned paychecks. On the topic of readiness, last week, I sent a letter to the Secretaries of Navy, Air Force, and Army seeking answers on the DoD's COVID vaccine mandate that resulted in the discharge of more than 8,000 healthy service members. Democrats continue to accuse me of impacting military readiness by holding 300 senior military promotions. My holds are not impacting readiness. All of these positions are filled and the jobs are getting done. Joe Biden impacted military readiness when he dismissed 8,000 brave soldiers over a vaccine mandate. This mass discharge severely harmed our military readiness, recruitment, and retention. I want to know the DoD's plan for ensuring continued readiness after forcing a vaccine mandate that would cause severe cuts to our force. Up to this point, military leaders have failed to answer questions for the reasoning behind the mandate. They've also failed to try to restore the confidence of our warfighters who were wrongly discharged. I support an amendment to this year's National Defense Bill introduced by Senator Cruz to reinstate our service members discharged for not taking the COVID vaccine. Democrats blocked this proposal because they'd rather have a weak and woke military instead of a strong fighting force. If the Pentagon truly cares about readiness, it should focus on recruiting and retaining strong men and women to defend our nation, not forcing them to take a vaccine.
Thank you, sir. We will now move to the question portion of today's call. A friendly reminder, if you could limit your question to one per outlet so that each outlet has the opportunity to speak with the senator. We'll begin with Andrea from WPMI.
Hey, good morning, Senator. I just wanted to get your take on the impeachment inquiry. You even have some House Republicans saying there's no evidence linking President Biden to a high crime or misdemeanor. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I really don't like impeachments. I hate to see the country drag through this, but unfortunately, in this case, it might be necessary. The American people deserve the truth, and that's what we need to look at. We need to look at all the evidence, bring it forth. I don't think it will ever make the light of day in the Senate, but if the House thinks they've got enough information and truth to show to the American people, it needs to be brought out. But if you ever go against or try to prosecute a president or, as we've just seen, a former president, it better be ironclad. American people are getting tired of this. And so I'm anxious to see what the House has. They've been talking very strongly about all the information. We have not seen it in the Senate, so we're just wait, look, and see and listen to what they've got. And hopefully the American people will really make the decision next year at the ballot box.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to WSFA, was anyone able to join from WSFA? Hearing none, we will move on to WBRC. Do you guys have a question for the senator?
Yes, Senator. We're also, approaching a government shutdown deadline. I'm wondering what you're hearing, if you're worried about it, and where we could be.
Yeah, we're all worried about it. We need to get something done. We're passing appropriation bills in the Senate, but it all starts in the House. They've got to get it done there. They've got a lot of dissension. They've got a lot of people who want to cut back on spending money. We need to cut back. We're $33 trillion in debt, and we need to make sure that the American people have their taxpayer dollars used the right way. I don't know which way this is going to go. They could kick the can down the road on a CR, which is a continuing resolution to just keep spending the same amount for a few weeks till they get this done. But it looks likely that we could have a shutdown, but again, that's all in the House. I hope it doesn't happen, but the ball's in their court. We'll just see what happens, but hopefully we can start cutting back on all this spending because we don't have the money.
Thank you, sir. Next, does anyone from ABC 3340 have a question for the senator?
No, he's answered our questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Devin with WASF.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Derek with WAAY.
Yes, and I may have missed it because I've been away for a while, but the latest on the Space Command, there was an article that was put out in Colorado about the general, and I guess it was like a $2 million farm that he bought. Do you have a statement or a reaction to that?
No, there's a lot of things going around. I think the next thing we just need to watch for is Congressman Rogers in the House, who's in charge of the Armed Services Committee. There will be, and I think it's next week, there will be a hearing with the people in charge of Space Command and people that were in charge of Space Command and people that made the decisions for Space Command. I think we need to have the real information brought out, text messages, emails, phone calls, all those things need to happen because this was not done the right way. It's supposed to be done by the Secretary of Air Force. He picked Huntsville, but for some reason the President picked Colorado Springs. So we'll see after all that goes through after the hearing, and we'll have more to say about it.
Thank you, sir. Austin with Yellowhammer.
No questions today. Thank you.
Thanks, Austin. Caleb with 1819 News.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was any update on the senator's name, image, likeness legislation. I know it got introduced last month. I was wondering anything in the near future going to happen with that.
We're working with Senator Ted Cruz, who's a ranking member on the Commerce Committee, and that's where this bill has to go through. He's got some ideas. Now, again, this is a bill that Joe Manchin and I formulated, but it was basically put together by the needs and wants of the athletic directors, coaches, players, and parents all over the country. So hopefully we'll see what happens when we continue to work with Senator Cruz. It has to go through the Commerce Committee first. That's the first step.
Thank you, sir. Was someone from CBS 42 able to join the call? Hearing none, we will move on to Maddie with WVTM.
Senator, coming up this Friday, it is the 60th anniversary of the 16th Street Baptist Church attack in Birmingham. Do you have any thoughts or reflections on this?
Well, I think we've made a lot of progress since that time. not just in our state, but all over the country. It was a sad time in our history. It needs to be continued to be looked at. Our young people need to study that, understand the good, the bad, and the indifferent from what happened at that time. But this country's come a long way, and we need to continue to work on all those things. But again, that's what history is about. A lot of people want to wipe out history. I think history is one of the best things for our young people to learn in schools, because they learn from experience. And that's something that it was a dark day for all of us all across our great country. But I think we've made some strides. We need to continue to make those. But it happens through people learning from past experiences.
Thank you, sir. Last but not least, Brandon with Alabama Today.
Yes, Senator. You recently spoke with General David Alvin of the Air Force, and I think he said that the age of the airframes, the older planes that the Air Force has got in inventory, is cutting down on the number of sorties that, his pilots can fly and the amount of training time they can get, because the older airplanes are in the depot or down with a malfunction. Do we need to, as a stopgap, order more F-16s and F-15s in the current defense budget in order to, replace some of those older airframes with newer aircraft?
Well, that's a very good question. Being on the Armed Services Committee, that hearing was yesterday with the nomination of a new chief of the Air Force. I've gotten several calls from former and present pilots, people that are in the Air Force. They're very disappointed about the amount of time that they get to practice. And of course, being a football coach, you only get better per practice, but they're only able to fly, for people that didn't understand this question, basically one time a month. And our adversaries like China are flying 4 to 5 times a month. The excuse given by the chief, the potential new chief of the Air Force, was money, maintenance, and as you said, the frames of some of our older airplanes. We're looking into that. I think it's just, I can't say just an excuse. I know the money is there. We spend almost $900 billion a year on the military. I don't think it's spent all in the right spots. We can't get an accounting for a lot of it every year. We're going to continue to work on that, but that's a good question. That's something we'll continue to follow up. If we need new airplanes, we need to do it. I know we're behind in ships. We're far behind Chinese in ships, but a strong military is one of the most important things for this country to have, because if we don't have a strong military with a fighting force that's trained, that can fly, that can sail, that can fight in battle, if we don't have that, we don't have anything else in this country, because freedom is the most important thing that we look up to. So very good question. We'll continue to talk with about that situation with the Chief of the Air Force. Hopefully we can get better answers than what we got yesterday.
Thank you, sir. This concludes our call for today. We look forward to speaking with you again next week. Please reach out if you have any questions in the meantime. Thank you.